Hi friends. I was putting off the video because I haven't finished anything in July. I finished, well, that's actually not true. I finished As Sure as the Dawn. I think I marked that as a 5 star, but I thought I would just sit down and talk about the books I'm reading right now. Because I'm in the middle of 3 books, I don't have a TBR, I don't have a pile of possibilities. I'm just going to talk about what I've read so far and what I think. So I'll talk about what I did finish. I did talk about that in June, I believe, but I did finish As Sure as the Dawn. That was a 5 star. I cried. At the very end, it was such a beautiful ending, but it kind of opens it up for Caleb's story. Kind of a little disappointed that she didn't write a story on Caleb, but it was a very good ending. I was very touched by it. I cried, and I don't normally cry. In one of the books on the Mark of the Lion series, I got teary-eyed. I did have some tears, but this one, like, I'm like literally weeping. So I do recommend the series. It's really good. I couldn't put it down. So let's talk about what I am reading right now, and it's going to turn into August TBR. It is what it is. Let's start with the first book, and that is In Order to Live. I am, according to Goodreads, I'm about 30 to 40% through the book. Very slow moving, very slow going. She talks about how her parents met, how her grandparents met. The She really paints a picture of how impoverished it is over there. It's just harsh conditions, very harsh. At one point, might be TMI for some people, there's a section where she's talking about like how her aunt, like they were living with her aunt. So her aunt was telling her and her sister, be sure not to poop at school. And I'm like, what? Why? And so they lock up their outhouses at night because they don't want people stealing their poop. Like there's a little legitimate thing, I guess. She's talking about how there's a dog that takes a big dump close by and they wait for that dog. And she's like, it's like gold. I'm like, oh my gosh, please don't tell me these people are eating this poop. And of course, my break was done at work and I couldn't get back to it. So all I'm thinking about is, are these people eating poop? I will save you. I will save you. They're not. They are using it as fertilizer. That's how impoverished it is. It's very harsh conditions. Really all they eat is like rice and I forgot what it was, rice and corn, I think she said. But they're doing whatever they can to survive, and they are brainwashed about the outside world. They're brainwashed about South Korea. One I'm learning more about North and South Korea, but obviously primarily about North Korea. So they are taught that South Korea is more impoverished than they are, which is not true. She learned that it's obviously not true. So they're also taught about Americans, and Americans, like the boy, the B word for the boys. So that's what they call us. And um and she said, like, it's like even down to like math class. Like if you had one American B word, and then we had 3 American B words, but we shot 2 of them. How many do you have left? It's really, really brutal. So I'm glad I have 2 other books to read as well, because there's just some parts in this that is a lot to think about, a lot to digest. And I haven't even gotten to the part where they're attempting to leave yet. Her father was in an imprisonment camp. And basically, if you are in an imprisonment camp or a work camp, you are not going to make it out. And they treat you less than an animal. They work you down to the bone, like think concentration camp. So it's very harsh conditions, and they truly believe that, oh gosh, Kim Il Sung and his father Jang Il Sung. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these right, but they truly believe that these leaders have special powers. And so that's why these people are okay with giving them food. And so she took a trip to, I think it was the capital. And there was so much technology, there was so much going on that she couldn't even imagine, and she was blown away. So it's crazy how much they've gone through in their lives within North Korea. I'm very curious to see how the rest of it goes, but so far I would say the writing, it seems a bit choppy at times, but that does make sense because English is not her first language. I don't know if this was written in English. I'm about a quarter of the way through. So I would say probably about a 4 star, probably more because of the writing. Sometimes, like she mentioned something, like I said, like going number two, it was literally just like a small section of it and like left me hanging really. So I had to Google why. She doesn't really explain why they go and search for everybody's number two, which is it's so sad that it has to come to this. So that's where I'm at right now with that book. Now I'm also reading And the Shofar Blue. This one is super triggering for me. Very, very, very triggering for me. And I am also about a quarter of the way through, getting close to half of the way through. And if you don't know about the book, it's about this young pastor and his family. They moved out to California to take over the church. The church was basically filled with elderly people. Eventually, he's adding new people to the church. The church is growing. He's taking liberties without consulting with the elders. He is basically doing what he wants. His father is a very well known televangelist. I think I know where this is going, but I I need to take breaks on this because it just angers me so much. One thing that really angered me, really upset me, was one of the elders was upset with how the pastor's doing things and how he's taken things. He's saying he's taken things too far, removing the King James Bible, this and that and the other thing. Well, then he finally resigned and he's moved on. The pastor's like, well, good riddance. Then, so the pastor's father came to the church. They did a lunch, so all of the congregation and then some. So there's people coming from all over the place coming to see him to get his autograph. People are asking him to autograph their Bibles, which is really, I'm sure that does happen, but that really bothered me too because they're idolizing this man and he's allowing it. And so the same elder that I spoke about, he he hadn't been there. I don't know the time frames on some of this because like it's like it started out in 1987 and then suddenly we're in 1993 or 1991. Not 1993. So it just kind of like jumps a lot. So I don't know how long the elder had been out of the church, how long he had been separated from them, but he came back especially for that. And he is praising this televangelist. Very triggering for me. It's very triggering. And that part just really angered me. It really bothered me because that elder, it's told me that he's more about tradition and the old ways. With some of these people, it's like you got to have a give and take. So I'm seeing a lot of different kinds of these Christians in these churches, but this is definitely for sure triggering me. I knew that it would, but I am taking my time. I'm okay with that. I might actually take a break from this Francine Rivers book club. I want to I think the next book is Leota's Garden, and I don't know anything about it. I try not to look into these books because I don't want any preconceived ideas. I'm debating if I should pick up Leota's Garden or not in August, but I'm not even close to finishing what I've got right now. So I'm about a quarter of almost halfway through, I would say, with this book, about a quarter of the way through. Then I don't have the physical copy. I am borrowing the ebook from the library, but it is My Dear Mrs. Hamilton. I am a little over halfway through it now, and it is quite large. She is a chunker. I'll have it up right here. About 600 pages. So this book is taking up a lot of my time, but also it's just like life is happening. I just don't have a lot of time to read. So I did mention I am a slow reader. So this book, I don't it is a historical fiction based on Alexander Hamilton from his wife's perspective. So far, it's a good book. However, I do think the authors are taking some liberties. Now, that's why they call it a historical fiction book. The way they met, a lot of these events that happened in this book so far, I I think they embellished, and I think that's what happens with historical fiction too. But this book specifically, I truly don't know how accurate it is. But if just reading it as a book, as a story, the way they met is very, very sweet. It's very cute. She starts out by like the book starts out with her saying like I don't think I'm ever going to get married. I'm going to be a spinster with my sister. Spoiler alert, all three sisters get married and they have babies. But so she meets Alexander Hamilton and they hit it off. And it was a very sweet beginning for them. Then, as we all know, Alexander Hamilton is one of the founding fathers. So there's quite a bit that becomes very political, and I am not political at all. I hate politics. I hate politics. I can't stand it. That was a struggle for me to go through that bit. There is some foreshadowing because we all know how he died. And so Aaron Burr is in the book, and she it's written like a journal entry, kind of like there's times in the end of a passage, like it's not like Dear Diary or anything, but it's kind of like written as if she's writing to a diary or she's recollecting this from the past or from the future, because she will say like when Aaron Burr was introduced to them, she will say she says something about how he he caused her great turmoil that she doesn't realize now, or like at one point she shook his hand and she shook the hand that will cause her great turmoil, something like that, like just a little bit of foreshadowing that we're already aware of. Also, one thing I did not know that Alexander Hamilton had an affair. There's no spice in it at all. It's not descriptive. It talks about them. You know what's happening. It's very closed door. It's very respectful. Yes, he had an affair and it went on for a year, and that was the first scandal of America. And that's where it became very political because it involved a politician. So that's when I realized that things just haven't changed at all. The political part aside, it has me interested enough to keep going. I am curious how things progress further, and I don't know. Yeah, I'm also curious how he gets into a duel with Aaron Burr to begin with. I guess I'll keep you updated, but no TBR this month. I'm just gonna wing it, and I actually kind of wish that some of these books, or maybe all of them, I wish that I was doing a reading vlog with them, because I have so many thoughts on these and so many things I wish I could have said right then and there on the spot, but that's okay. So maybe I'll do a reading vlog from here on out for the end of the month. I don't know. That is my reading update. Well, I will talk to you guys later. Bye. This might be this
Go
might,
away. You're so cute. Yeah.
okay.